create a mental Krishna. You can imagine Krishna. And then you can imagine, all kinds of things. I mean, we can imagine anything. I can imagine I'm flying. No problem. But it's imagination. Krishna consciousness is not imagination. It's real. And real, it can only become through serving a real person, a real spiritual master. If you meet somebody who is not a cheater, who is real, then you also can really follow. That depends on the desire. Some people want to be cheated. They want something cheap and quick. Usually cheap comes quick. Quick means cheap. If you want something real, I was taught like this when I came to the temple. Devotees told me, if you want to get cheated, if you want some piece of glass, they're selling it on the street. But if you want pearls, if you want something valuable, well, then you have to pay. And I was going, but I have no money. He said, we don't want your money. We want your life. Very nice preaching. He said, this is a nice place to die. You come, surrender your life, and you die. It was my preaching, 1973. I thought this makes sense. I thought I will die anyway for something. So serving my mind, I had a very practical experience of what it means to serving my mind. I was scared. That's a really strange guru, because he's changing all the time. And the beautiful thing about Prabhupada is, he never changed. It's the same Prabhupada. Never changed his statement. That doesn't mean it's static. People always connected that not changing means static. That's boring. No. That's where the real variety comes. That's where the real variety comes. It's in the spiritual platform. Material life is static. What? Wake up in the morning, brush your teeth, go to job, eat, pass stool again, and eat, and pass stool, and between you sleep. And then you get the job, but how many? I don't know what. And then it's springtime, and then it's summer, and after summer comes autumn, it's winter, and maybe you have 40, 50, 60 winters to go, 70 winters to go, and then you die. Finished. Very monotone, actually. You think, no, I want to see so many things, and no, I cannot see one thing. It's very monotone. And when you think you got what you really wanted, it turns into something very boring. Like you think, I would like to eat this, when I eat this, I will enjoy. Well, you eat it all the time, it becomes tasteless. Yeah, I ate it all, so what? It's always strive for new, because it's getting boring. That's material world. In a spiritual sense, in an association of pure devotee like Srila Prabhupada, the very minute is exciting. You never actually knew, even Srila Prabhupada was, his philosophy and the Shastri presentation was clear, but every minute was exciting. What is he going to do now? How is he going to preach? And Prabhupada said the same thing. We are not this body. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Never changed one thing. But how did he do that? I could just play so many recordings just on the theme of we are not this body. In one lecture, Prabhupada, instead of explaining we are not this body, he's calling a little boy from a public. Come here. Can hear it on the tape. And then the boy comes, and Prabhupada said, who is you? And the boy goes, well, I am this, and he gives some name. Prabhupada said, no, you are not. The boy gets completely confused, and he goes, Prabhupada said, show me, where are you? Who is you? And the boy goes, can hear it. The boy goes, show some, and he goes, Prabhupada said, no, that's your arm. Oh, where are you? No, that's your chest. That's your head. That's your leg. So where are you? Who's you? And then the boy is very innocent. He gets excited for him. It's like a game. And he goes, well, I guess I don't know. Then Prabhupada goes, thank you for the participation. You are absolutely right. We don't know. And then he continues with the lecture. Just to show very clearly, we don't know. So Prabhupada, he had so many variations, how to express and make Krishna consciousness accessible to such a vast variety of people. We cannot usually do that. We are always attracting some people, maybe, and some people we are rejecting. Some people we are rejecting. And we have a concept. We have a concept about this Krishna consciousness, and from that concept we judge others. No, you are not so Krishna conscious. You don't have a tilak on your head. You are not painted. Or, no, you are not advanced. Like example, if you come to a holy dham and you walk the pathways in a holy place, you're not supposed to have shoes. But it gets very hard. Especially nowadays, where sand and earth is replaced by hot asphalt. It's great. This was not in a Vedic times like this. You never find. And then Vedavyas walked on a hot asphalt, and he had to be careful he doesn't step on some glass while he made his way through a tons of plastic bottles. This is India today. Messed up place. And from the trees there were hanging plastic bags, fluttering in the wind. You will find it in Bhagavatam. But that's India today. Heavily messed up place. So the devotee was going, and he had a hurt feet, And then he said, Prabhupada, I know that rule, one should follow, one should walk in bare feet and hold it down, but I cannot hardly walk. He said, you should always follow the example of your spiritual master. Then he looked, and he realized all the time that Prabhupada was walking with shoes. That was practical. So yes, such a thing is there, and you should walk preferably bare feet, but if you cannot walk, then wear shoes. It's Prabhupada was very practical in a certain point. So the devotee was very happy. No, now I can finally walk. So this is, Prabhupada showed in the process of preaching also a great deal of pragmatism. But not unlimited. There was rules and there were certain regulations. Therefore it's so important to have a spiritual guide whose function it is actually to translate Krishna consciousness in the present context without changing it. Not changing the essence, but showing actually how to apply it. This was shown by Prabhupada, and this was already shown by his spiritual master, who was also heavily criticized that he's doing things like driving in a car. Sannyasi is not supposed to drive in a car, in the announced order you walk. But but Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj said, what's the use of walking? We get too late to the program. Preaching is important. So use the car. Yeah, and he was doing things like that he was heavily criticized. Prabhupada took it even further when he came to the Western world. What can you do here? People have no idea. He mixed male and female, not unregulated. He got them married. Even he performed the marriages, which is unheard of, a sannyasi performing marriages. It's a scandal. Prabhupada's answer was very simple. Who else should do that? These people live like animals. They are running around copulating like cats and dogs. So, how can we preach like this? He writes in one letter, we simply become a laughing stock of society. We can chant Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, and then we are just going to live like animals? Who is going to believe that? So he just took that sacrifice on himself and he just arranged and performed marriages. So we have some platform to preach from. So many revolutionary things he did. When devotees ask him, are there more rules? He said, if I would tell you all the rules, you will all leave again. And I will be alone here again. You will be all leaving. So he had to make so much adjustment. So especially the early generation of devotees who were joining, adds a little bit conditioning, I noticed. You invite here any old Prabhupada disciple who will tell you about the early days of Krishna consciousness, you will find sometimes him being not so strict, maybe, according to the new standards. And the reason for that is that they were all raised like that. Prabhupada extended a great, credit to them because they were starting preaching Krishna consciousness. So he didn't ask when he sent devotees to preach in Japan, he didn't ask them, how strictly are you following this and this and this and this? He asked, did you make some devotees? Did you meet somebody? Did he become a devotee? You know, and while doing though, sometimes the preachers, they have to take great risks. You know, as the Christian joke goes, there's a very strict priest go back to heaven, entering kingdom of God. And they say, look God, we are acting so purely, with no sin. Our hands are entirely clean. God says, yeah, I can see that. They are very clean, but they are empty. You didn't do anything. So that can be quite easily applied with Prabhupada. Prabhupada made his hands very dirty. But Krishna cleaned it immediately out of mercy, because his pure devotee takes such a risk. Otherwise he wouldn't sit here tonight. Prabhupada would really like to clean to keep his hands clean. He was he was sitting in Vrindavan, absorbed in holy name, meditation about Krishna, and leave. There's even philosophy circulating sometimes around. We shouldn't go out and preach. That's dirty. These filthy people. It's stated even in the Shastra that the people beyond that big water, ocean, means people in the West, they are malicious. They are absolutely unqualified for spiritual life. There's even Indian Brahmanas who will tell you, you cannot progress spiritually unless you are not a Brahmana. You are not born in my family. You have to be born in the womb of my wife to make spiritual progress. Prabhupada fiercely fought this kind of caste Brahmanism. You know, it's one of these Paka, it's called Paka Brahmana, really straight on, very pure. When he saw his first disciples from Prabhupada arriving in India, he didn't admit them even to go in a temple. He said, no, this is Western people. They may be dressed like devotees, but they are Western. They are white. They are eggshells. So devotees were very depressed. And they reported to Prabhupada, we cannot even enter this temple. He told us we are not qualified. Ironically, when later on Krishna consciousness kind of exploded, even in India, the very same man approached Prabhupada, actually his disciples, with a request if they could help his temple, which was falling apart, with some financial help. Prabhupada wrote him a letter. I mean, I never read anything from Prabhupada being so sarcastical. He wrote him, yes, I'm aware that you requested my disciples to assist you financially in your temple, but I have to inform you that you, being such a pure Brahmana, cannot touch our money, which was collected from dirty lectures. So the money is of such a polluted nature, it's not suitable for you to acquire this. Bye-bye. It's really heavy letter. So this is Prabhupada showed, but actually the essence of the Krishna consciousness is, he stayed with the essence. He didn't, got carried away by details. So these first devotees who joined him, they might be actually not so trained as even devotees are today. But they got trained in the essence. What is the whole thing about? What is really the meaning of that? And the meaning is that people, according to the time, place and circumstances, can conduct Krishna consciousness to the best of their abilities. I mean, extreme example would be if I go to preach to Eskimos. They sit on a piece of ice, living in their igloos, in the little ice houses. What will I tell them? Chant Hare Krishna. Great, they can do that. Wash your hands. Be pure Brahmanas. Dress like this. They'll be dead in a few minutes. It's -40. Don't wear animal skin. Well, it's the only thing we have. I mean, this is an extreme example now. There are people living in such regions. You will tell them, as a Hare Krishna devotee, you cannot eat meat, fish and eggs. Probably they will say, meat? Yeah, we can skip that. Eggs? I never saw an egg in my life. There's no chickens in Antarctica, But no fish? So what do you preach? Obviously you skip the fish. But this is an extreme example. Generally we can, in any region of the world, we see it when we preach. We can actually, in any region of the world, come to some reasonable way to live and maintain and practice Krishna consciousness. But there will be differences. Yes, there will be differences. Like Prabhupada initiated disciples in India, when he got his first Indian disciples. Is an example of one of my godbrothers. He got, at the first initiation, we have different initiations, and the first one was, your name is Bhakti Charudas. Then usually after 1 year or later on comes the Brahmi initiation. That means the Brahmin's drink. Okay? Comes this. That he got also at the first initiation. And as a bonus, he got a danda as a sannyasi. Your name is Bhakti Charuswami, you know. All in one package like this. Well, it never happened in the West. Because this person comes from such a cultured background. I mean, he grew up like a Brahmana. He is, he has a whole thing. It's a problem. But it's also exceptional, but it just happened like this. So normally it's not like that. So Prabhupada was practical, seeing who is there, to what a degree he can bring that person, to what a level, and above all in a long-term way. And we saw it again and again being proven. Devotees can only conduct Krishna consciousness in a way where they can find a balance between their level of material desires they still carry around and the way they can practice Krishna consciousness. So this is only possible to sustain. Anything else is called artificial, or even in a worst case, fanatic. Fanatic means I prove to the world that I am something I am not. Come, listen, confirm my status. And Maya, illusion, will arrange. You may find even followers who have exactly the same problem. And they also go, yeah, let's cheat together, yeah. One cheater meets the other. This can happen on a subtle or gross platform. So Prabhupada, anyway, material nature will speak. It is a very firm language there, very clear. Material, as Prabhupada gives today, again I read another example. Prabhupada has a very simple story. He said, actually 2 stories he taught in this regard. Once, a shoemaker was making a really nice shoes for the king. The king was so pleased. So he said, such a nice shoes you made for you, what can I do for you? And he said, well, I would like to be one day a king. The king said, okay, one day, why not? So he said, put him on a throne. They put this, dress on him and crown. And he was really happy. And he said, okay, now I am a king. I can issue a law. My first law is that all the money has to be made from leather. Can you imagine leather money? Everybody goes, what is he talking about? Because for him, as a shoemaker, leather was the most valuable thing. So he thought, that's the best thing I can do. All the money is made from leather. Yeah? The king said, you know what? Get down from the Vyasa again. You're a shoemaker, that's it. And this will not change in Krishna consciousness. It will not change. The only thing which we can change, that we can make shoes for Krishna. That's the whole idea. Not the shoemaker changing. Another example, even more straight, Prabhupada gave us. If you put it on that same throne a dog, put a crown on him, a dog sitting on a big seat. He is now the king. You can easily find out he's a dog. Just throw a bone. He will go. He will immediately jump down from the seat. Oh, a bone! And he will be immediately down from the seat. And this is what material nature is doing to us. We can place ourselves in all kinds of positions, and then she goes, hey, You are a big, big dog. Catch! You know, and we go, poof. So it will be proven by our action. This is a simple example Prabhupada gave. So Krishna consciousness is not about changing our constitution in itself, in context with the body we are. It's to change how we live with that and what we are using it for. And we can be very pure dogs. That's called purified. Purified doesn't mean change. Purified means to change the purpose. To use it. Use it for Krishna, whatever you have. Krishna says, whatever you have, whatever you do, give it to me, do it for me. I don't have much. It doesn't matter how much. Krishna never says how much. Krishna says, whatever you can, do it for me. It's very encouraging actually. You know. So in this way everybody can be engaged. That's the principle Prabhupada was working upon. It was powered by knowledge, not by sentiment, by knowledge, but by knowledge about the individual nature of the individual person. And of course, once you are really inspired to serve Krishna, you can do things you wouldn't believe. You can even transgress your nature. Prabhupada said, actually, pure devotee can do anything. But ultimately you settle on an activity you can do best. But in times of need, for Krishna, you can do anything. That's how much, when devotee, when he is surrendered, how effective he can become. And when we don't understand that, and we try to be somebody else, or do the duties of another, even, perfectly, we will not be effective. Krishna says, rather you do what you can do imperfectly, but do it honestly. And then you become very effective. So in connection to that, this is just a little demo, because I was just on a little trip in Czech Republic and Slovakia, just to show a few photos. Where's my rucksack? Can I have that over? This is just for devotees to show a little bit. This is a project which I just visited in Czech Republic. First of all, in a second biggest town called Brno, there is a preaching center of this size, like a house like that, with a traditional regular Sunday feast. You can find it on the internet if you want to see some photos under Prabhupada.bhavan. Then you can find out, it's actually purely powered. It's like, it remembers me on the early days when we started to preach. It's just powered by brahmacharis. It's just 5-6 brahmacharis who distribute books during the week, and on the weekend they make a big Sunday feast for guests. It's a very simple operation. But I have here also photos from a community which is around 50 kilometers far away, which was started around 10 years ago, completely unnoticed. Sometimes you find things are just happening on a basis which I just described. On the basis of personal inspiration. This was, Prabhupada sometimes was even asked by his disciples, Prabhupada, what do you think? Like one of his disciples made a real mistake. He was kind of happy in his service, but he was becoming a little bit attached. He was managing 12, I think, buses full of devotees distributing books. So he felt like, I am the general in the army. He became a little bit proud. And it created a little bit tension. He was known as being a person who can really take heavy control. And for some it was a little bit too much. Took a little bit fascistic turn. So Prabhupada noticed that. And he realized that even this was book distributors, the buses were full of book distributors, still there could be potential trouble. And it would finally turn that it would decrease the result of book distribution. So he indicated to this devotee, maybe we should just maybe try also to do something else. You can do so many things. Prabhupada always put it very nicely. So, and the devotee was like, in a very friendly way. Prabhupada told him very friendly. He said, well, Prabhupada, I don't know what to do. I mean, I can preach. I can go anywhere and preach. I mean, should I go and preach to China or what? Because China was like another planet. It was known that it's not possible to preach in China, due to the communistic heavy government. Next morning, Prabhupada called him and he said, I thought about this, what you said yesterday. It's not a bad idea. You had a very good idea. I think you should go and preach in China. The devotee was shocked. He said, why did I say that? But Prabhupada took it immediately as an indication. That we could do. And as a matter of fact, my good brother Tamal Krishna Maharaj, he went to China and he started to preach there. With considerable success. Amazing. So, Prabhupada took inspiration even from his disciples. He saw it given. Krishna can inspire you. And then devotees say, when Prabhupada, you told me to do this, I never did this before, I cannot do that. Prabhupada looked at him very seriously and he said, you think Krishna can inspire you? Krishna is so poor, God is so incompetent, he cannot help you, he cannot inspire you. When Prabhupada said that, it was so convincing. And he was like, of course, after all, I just want to serve Krishna, it's for his purpose, so why shouldn't he help me? This was the mood. Devotees were going to the most crazy places on this planet to preach and produce sometimes entirely amazing things. So these pictures we will see now, this is actually about a very little project. It's nothing spectacular, but still it's spectacular in that regard that it was done with no particular plan. It was done with no particular, we have to a little bit tune down the kit. This is usually what happens. Once the bank on the floor. This is how we are translated in our lives. Well, we get out of conditioner's control, we bang our head, isn't it? So we get out of the parent control, we bang our head. Very difficult to continue. Hey, you can go down in a prasad. People have to stand in a cold because baby is crying. Maybe it's stopped on them. So, let's see where we are now here. Like I said, this is a very quickly, unprofessionally made photos. Just one thing. What happened? So, it's difficult now to explain to new guests, but already devotees will very well understand what I'm talking about. We use that train to start up projects or preach on an order of a superior authority who had a vision. Okay? A little bit like in the army. The general says, and today we are going to fight the war like this, on this battlefield, everybody get armed, and here we go. It's not a bad concept, but the amazing thing about this kind of project is that there was no general. There was no plan. There was just one plan, that the devotees want to conduct Samavada Krishna consciousness together and still serve Krishna. It doesn't mean they don't have a spiritual master, but actually there wasn't a master plan for that idea. So you can say, how can this work? No, when Krishna gets involved, it can get work.